What's going on guys, Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So a few days ago, Gamescom happened, and if you guys don't know about Gamescom, it's basically like E3 and PAX, where it's a big video game convention and a lot of people gather, and Nintendo usually shows up there with some games that people are able to play before release, and so this year, people were able to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now I'm pretty sure that this build of Smash Bros is the same one that was at E3, so it's the same demo that they're using, but what's cool is that apparently someone was able to data mine this demo and give us some potential information for what we could expect in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now this post does come from 4chan, and so I know as soon as I say 4chan, a lot of you guys are going to say, well, it's fake, it's trash, there's no reason to cover it, and while most of the time the stuff that does come from 4chan turns out to be fake, there have been many times in the past where legitimate stuff has leaked on 4chan. I mean, who can forget that Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS and the Wii U was pretty much completely leaked on 4chan by the ESRB. They posted screenshots of the character select, the stage select, so many different modes in the game, so that got completely leaked on 4chan. There have been many other recent things that have been leaked on 4chan as well. I mean, if you guys remember the Nintendo Switch presentation that happened in 2017, someone apparently leaked the entire thing on all the games that were going to be coming out on 4chan. Recently, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was leaked on 4chan in like April or so before the game was even revealed. There have been many other times. I think even Smash Bros. This year, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, right before the E3 presentation where they revealed the game, someone I think posted about it the night before. They talked about how there was going to be all the characters from the previous game coming back. So a lot of times 4chan stuff can turn out to be true. Now if we take a look at the post, it says, "Hello everyone, I was working on the setup of the demo build of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to install with the Switch's dev menu for the Gamescom this year. I had access to the data files of the game and I made some interesting discoveries, and more precisely in the file UI_character_db.bin and the fighter folder in the folder data. Here's what I found in terms of playable characters." Now before we take a look at the playable characters, according to this person, they said that they had access to the files for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's demo and that they had to install them on the Switch's menu for the system that they were going to be using for the playable demo at Gamescom this year. Now I'm not exactly sure how early access demos work for events like E3 and PAX, and so if you guys have any idea on how you think that these demos work, then definitely be sure to let me know down below. I always thought it was just a special system that already had the demo pre-installed on it, and that these systems were just sent to each events that were going to have the demo, and that they pretty much just had to set up the kiosk and everything, and then just put that system there. That's pretty much what always made the most sense to me, but I guess according to this person, they actually have the files of the demos that are sent over to them, and that they have to install the files onto the Switch system. So that's the first thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about according to this person's statement. I don't really know if you're supposed to take the demo files and install them onto a Switch system. I mean, he could very well be telling the truth. I don't know if that's the case here. Like, maybe you do have to take the demo files that are sent over to you for the build and you have to install them onto a Switch system and make that demo playable. I always thought it was just a playable demo that was sent over to you within a Switch system. But yeah, that's the one thing that I'm a little bit unsure about. Now the second thing that I'm a little bit doubtful about is how he says here that he finds a lot of information in the file UI_character_db.bin and the fighter folder in the folder data. Now obviously he's stating all of this technical stuff to make it seem like he knows what he's talking about and convince us that he actually does have the demo. Like, I could go on 4chan right now and say that I have access to the Smash Bros demo and that I found a whole bunch of character files under data/characters/UI/models or whatever, and make it seem like I actually know what I'm talking about. But the thing is, there's actually people that have data mined Smash Bros games, and so that's what we have to go off of here. Now, I don't know anything about developing Smash Bros, but I'm pretty sure that when developing Smash Bros, Sakurai and the team probably have a strict foundation of Smash Bros and the way that they organize their files. Like, I'm pretty sure like they know, like, in this folder, under this, that's where you can find all the files for characters. I don't really think that they would mess with this in a new Smash Bros game. Like, if they already had their files organized like this, why when they're making a new Smash would they have to reorganize where all the files are located? It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. So I'm pretty sure that they already have that foundation in their Smash Bros games, and so because of that, we've already had previous Smash Bros games that we've data mined before. Like, we've data mined Super Smash Bros on the 3DS, we've data mined Super Smash Bros on the Wii U, and so we have been able to locate like where all these files for characters can be located. Now, I'm not a data miner, so I can't say anything about this, but what I can say is that if you are a data miner, or if you know someone who is a data miner, definitely ask them and let them know in previous Smash Bros games, has there been a folder called data, and has there been a folder called fighter within that folder data, and has there been file names like this for UI_character_db.bin, because if this has happened before in previous Smash Bros games, then we could get a good idea that maybe this person does know what they're talking about. But anyway, let's take a look at the characters and Echo Fighters that this person has apparently discovered according to the demo for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Alright, so in terms of the newcomers, the first one that it says right here is Banjo, and it says Banjo is obviously referring to the Banjo-Kazooie duo. Now Banjo-Kazooie is definitely a character that I know a lot of people would love to have in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and what's really cool is that even the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, has said that he's totally cool with Banjo-Kazooie appearing in Smash Bros, and even the developers at Rare have said that they're totally fine with it, so it's really just up to Sakurai and the team to put them into the game, but I think a lot of people would be very happy if Banjo-Kazooie ended up coming to Smash Bros. Now the next file that we have here is B Waddle Dee, and so it says here that it's suggested to be Bandana Waddle Dee from the Kirby series, so this is also another character that I know a lot of people would like to see appear in Smash Bros, and Bandana Waddle Dee is actually the #1 character, I'm pretty sure, in Japan for newcomers to add into Smash Bros. In like every poll that they've done in Japan, Bandana Waddle Dee is always #1, or at the very least, it's always at the very top, so I think it would make a lot of sense to have Bandana Waddle Dee appear in Smash Bros. I think many people would be happy, and it is Kirby after all, so it's Sakurai's franchise. I think he would probably want to do that too. Now the next file that we have here says Gao Gwen, and apparently this is the Japanese name for Incineroar, which is going to be the 7th generation Pokemon rep. Now in terms of a Gen 7 Pokemon in Smash Bros, Decidueye and Incineroar are definitely among the highly requested ones, but I think a lot of you guys can agree with me in the fact that I think that Decidueye might have a slightly lower chance of appearing in Smash Bros, as because of how Decidueye already appears in Pokken Tournament, I think that maybe they'll decide to put in a different Gen 7 Pokemon because Decidueye is already in one fighting game, so they'll decide to give someone else a chance in Super Smash Bros. So that's why I feel like that Decidueye kind of doesn't have a really good chance of appearing. Maybe they'll decide to put in Incineroar as well, so that's why I feel like Incineroar has a pretty good chance. And also, if you guys don't know, Mr. Masuda's favorite Gen 7 Pokemon is actually Incineroar, so that's also another thing, because Mr. Masuda actually influences Mr. Sakurai's decisions in terms of Pokemon a lot. I think it was even like Mr. Masuda who told Sakurai to put in Greninja as a playable character for like the X and Y era, so I think it makes a lot of sense. Mr. Masuda probably told Sakurai that Incineroar would be a good fit for Smash Bros, and I mean Incineroar is also a wrestler as well, he's got the whole fighting background, so it would make a ton of sense to see Incineroar appear in Smash Bros. Now the next file that we have here is Geno, and so obviously Geno is referring to Geno from Super Mario RPG, so this is also a character that I know many people would love to see appear in Super Smash Bros, and the thing is, Mr. Sakurai has mentioned before that Geno has actually been considered to appear in Smash Bros for a pretty long time. Mr. Sakurai has mentioned before in interviews that Geno was actually considered to be a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, but they never were able to come up with a moveset for him, and then they even considered having something with Geno in Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS and Wii U, but they decided not to do it, but instead of having Geno fans with nothing, they decided to put him as a Mii Fighter costume. So Sakurai has actually considered Geno for a pretty long time, and he also knows that many people would like to see Geno appear in Super Smash Bros., so I feel like it would make a ton of sense to put Geno finally in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now the next file that we have here is Marshall, and so it says here that Marshall refers to the Chorus Kids from the Rhythm Heaven series, and so Rhythm Heaven is also another franchise that I know a lot of people would love to see be represented in Smash Bros. And if you guys remember that ESRB leak for Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS and the Wii U, when that leak happened, there was actually a rumor going around that the Chorus Kids were going to appear in the game as DLC that was going to be introduced later, so a lot of people were looking forward to the Chorus Kids, but unfortunately it didn't turn out to be the case, so I think it would make a lot of sense to add the Chorus Kids in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I know a lot of people would love to have that happen. So the next thing here is that it says that there's a file name called Rex from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and that there's also 2 other folders, one that says Rexho, which is suggested to be Homura, the Japanese name of Pyra, and then the second one that says Rexy, which is suggested to be Hikari, the Japanese name of Mithra. Now Rex, Pyra, and Mithra are definitely some characters that I know a lot of people would like to see in Smash Bros. Ultimate, but personally I feel like that they're not going to appear in the game because I think that they're still a little bit too recent. I mean, from the time that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to release in December, it's literally going to be like the 1-year anniversary of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and so I still feel like that Pyra, Mithra, and Rex are a little bit too recent to add into the base roster of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Maybe they'll come later as DLC, but we do know that Sakurai doesn't like to add characters that are really recent. He likes to wait a little bit, and I think that's why he decided to wait with Inkling as well, so who knows, maybe we'll get them later as DLC, but I really don't see them appearing as the base roster of Smash Bros. Ultimate, even though I would really like to see them appear. Now the next file name that we have here is Robin, and so it says here that Robin is the Japanese name of Isaac from Golden Sun, and also not to be confused with Robin from Fire Emblem, who is labeled as Reflet, so I think it would make a lot of sense to have them as 2 different names so that you can differentiate between them within the files. But Isaac from Golden Sun is also a very highly requested character, and a lot of the polls that we've done for new characters in Super Smash Bros, Isaac has actually appeared at the very top on a lot of these, so I wouldn't be surprised if he appears in Super Smash Bros. And finally, the last newcomer that's on here is Skull Kid, and so it says here that that Skull Kid is going to be a brand new character from the Legend of Zelda series, and Skull Kid I know is actually getting very speculated to appear in Super Smash Bros. There's actually a whole bunch of theories that people have as to why Skull Kid could be a potential character in Super Smash Bros. So I wouldn't be surprised if Skull Kid does end up becoming a playable character within Super Smash Bros. Alright, so that is going to do it for all the new characters according to this data mine, but we also have some potential Echo Fighters here as well. So if we take a look at the list here, it says Dixie, which is referring to Dixie Kong, and she's going to be an Echo Fighter of Diddy Kong. Garcia, which is the Japanese name of Felix from Golden Sun, and that he's going to be an Echo Fighter of Isaac. Ken, which is referring to Ken from the Street Fighter series, he's going to be an Echo Fighter of Ryu. Shadow, which refers to Shadow the Hedgehog from the Sonic series, he's going to be an Echo Fighter of Sonic. Suzue, which is the Japanese name of Isabelle from the Animal Crossing series, and she's going to be an Echo Fighter of Villager. And Cirmorite, which is going to be the Japanese name of Gardevoir from the Pokemon series, and that she's going to be an Echo Fighter of Mewtwo. So a lot of these I can see happening. I think a lot of these are Echo Fighters that people have been expecting, like Shadow and maybe Dixie Kong and Ken. So a lot of these do make sense, but I know some of these are definitely kind of interesting as well, especially like Gardevoir, which is going to be an Echo Fighter of Mewtwo. That definitely doesn't seem like a Pokemon that just comes out of nowhere. Like it doesn't seem like Gardevoir is also like a very popular Pokemon that a ton of people would like to see appear, but I think it would make a lot of sense. I mean, Gardevoir is also another psychic Pokemon. It could definitely use like telekinetic powers and stuff and attack like that, so it would make a ton of sense. And I think some people said like how would Gardevoir like be able to attack if Mewtwo uses a lot of his attacks from his tail? And the thing is, Mr. Sakurai has mentioned before in an interview that Echo Fighters don't have to be exact replicas of the characters that they're based off of. They just have to be kind of similar so that they can work around and figure out some other moves for them. So yeah, that is going to be the list here for the newcomers and Echo Fighters from this potential data mine of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate demo. And I think the one thing that we can agree here is that all of these characters, if they do end up coming into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, are definitely fan favorite characters that Sakurai has definitely easily picked from the Super Smash Bros. Ballot. I think it makes a lot of sense. All of these characters are ones that a lot of fans have wanted, and Mr. Sakurai has confirmed that all the newcomers that they've added into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are based off of the results from the Super Smash Bros. Ballot, so it would make a lot of sense that the remaining new characters that they're going to add are also fan favorite ones that a lot of people would love to see. And so there you go, guys, that is the rumor that we have here for the potential data mine of the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate demo, as well as the newcomers and Echo Fighters that we could get inside of the game. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please be sure to click that like button, and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think of this. Do you guys think that it's real? Do you think that it's fake? How would you feel if some of these new characters were added into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as well as some of these Echo Fighters? Definitely be sure to let me know all of your thoughts down below. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Super Smash Bros. Content in the future, so please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at @ActualAero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord as well. I'll have that linked in the description. We've got a bunch of nice people there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.